Scenarios engages teenagers in thinking about their sexual health by writing, by using their creativity and thinking through how they make decisions and choices in their lives. And the benefit of the program is that in the writing they get to express themselves in the way that they want to speak. They're researching it through their own lives and having to be introspective and think, how do I make choices? How am I making decisions? How am I thinking through this? And so what we hope is that in the process of writing, that it's a transformative experience and that they get to think through what they're actually doing in their real life. A couple hundred young people in Miami submitted stories, and Katrina's was chosen because it dealt with an issue of body image and specifically eating disorders, and the topic of the scenarios contest is sexuality. And you don't often connect eating disorder with sexuality, but it has so much to do with how you feel about yourself, how you treat yourself, how you look at the world.
There are millions of things that trigger people to have insecurities, especially girls, about their body images. I mean, from billboards to magazines, you can go through an entire Vogue magazine. I'm not dissing Vogue, I like the magazine, but you can go through an entire magazine and I bet you will not find one model that weighs more than 100 pounds.
I noticed that when you switch on a TV, you're never gonna see like a person that's overweight, like doing a commercial. It's always someone that looks like Christina Aguilera with oversized boobs and like like a 103 body type. And like they're sending a bad message to especially teen girls, because that just pressure us to want to look like them to the point where we're just like, we're never gonna look like them. We end up depressed.
Frank, take 3 pick a marker. Action. In this society, we are taught we must starve ourselves. I mean, 60% of high school students are on a diet.
Who would like to interject?
And cut.
I went through my own little thing last year that dealt a lot with this, and I was like, I'm gonna go on a diet. And then I just started losing all this weight, and I was like, okay. And then I'm like ripping out pictures of models and putting them on my wall, and I'm like, this is what I have to look like, this is what I want to look like. And then yeah, I started throwing up a lot, and it was like, I would go out with my friends and I'd be like, everybody be having a great time, and I'm like, okay, I gotta go puke, I gotta go puke, I gotta go puke. And it's like, damn, this sucks. And I would sit back and I was so unhappy.
Most of my friends are very into their body and, have dealt with eating disorders, and they're all like, I think I'm fat, or I need to lose weight.
It's more out there for the women, but guys, I think guys go through the same problem.
It's really good for kids also to like have a dialogue about bulimia, because it's such a secret, and I feel like the more kind of it's out there, the more that it's like in people's faces and they have to deal with it or talk about it. I thought it was really important to be a part of the project just because it's so important to kind of get young people excited about expressing themselves.
And ask questions. Who said I want to hear a pathetic sob story?
Yeah, one comment.
Yeah. When you go, okay, you win, so what? Do you have some weird need to psychoanalyze me? When you tell her that, do you have some weird need to psychoanalyze me? You're like, freak. Not, you don't call her a freak, but you're like, do you have some weird need to psychoanalyze me? Like, you're such a
like
weirdo.
It becomes like you blaming her. Like it's her problem.
And then when
problem.
you say,
and you know, a lot of these students, they have so many great stories to tell, and their stories are so accurate for what they're going through. And I feel like so many people in LA, like, you know, and New York, the people who are creating a lot of the mass culture that they're consuming, don't really know exactly what's going on. I mean, hopefully I can be a role model to her. I mean, not only am I a woman, but I'm also an 8 months pregnant woman. So just to give her a sense that even, you know, when you're 8 months pregnant, you can still do a lot of stuff and make a big impact.
Marker.
Okay, we're rolling!
And action.
Well, having an eating disorder is a really big battle between not wanting to eat and wanting to eat an entire supermarket worth of food. The scene where Chloe, the entire lunch scene, and Chloe with the chocolate is just the temptation that she's going through, and she's torn between something as simple as food. A harmless piece of food is putting this girl in emotional detriment. This project has been extremely therapeutic. It has really opened my mind to, because I'm writing these things out on a piece of paper and I'm like, you don't have to care about what anybody else thinks about you, and in the back of my mind I'm like, I'm a complete contradiction. And then when I see it all come to, watching it all come to life and watching these girls just act it out, and I'm like, wow, you know what? Maybe some of the things I'm saying I should take into consideration and go ahead and exemplify them to the rest of the world. What I really wanted to accomplish, the only one thing I really want to accomplish, because I know that this whole body image thing isn't just going to stop tomorrow, is just I want girls to be able to look at themselves and be like, you know what? I'm not a size 0, okay? I may have some imperfections, but I have an awesome ability to use my mind and create.
Scenarios believes that it's important for teenagers to tell their own stories because they're the experts and they know what it's like being a teenager better than anybody else.
The fact that a teenager wrote it is just way better because it just shows how we feel about ourselves.
It's coming from a teenager.
And a teenager representing us, what we think about society, and that's really awesome.
And then if an adult tries to write a script like this, sometimes they don't really face the same problems that we're facing at this age in this generation. And coming from a teenager, it's more in detail of what's actually happening. It's more real.
We don't listen to adults in general, but having a teenager write it is in the inside, it's one of us.
They understand the situations and they feel you, and you're not alone, it'll get better, basically. It's a science that it'll get better. You have support behind you. You have an army.
This is like watching my dream come true, like watching a script that I would write, being made into a movie. There's a lot of work, but it's something that I've come to terms with, and I really would like to do this for the rest of my life. So.
Thank you, everyone.
Everybody.
So much.